What's up guys? How would you feel about getting an extra $300 per month from the federal government to help combat these increased gas prices and inflation? Sounds good, right? This is looking more like a reality right now. This is your breaking news stimulus check and stimulus package update. And take a look at this article just came out a few days ago. Democrats push for $300 a month stimulus checks to help Americans struggling to pay for sky-high gas prices as a gallon sources past $6 in LA, and 73% of voters say they back tax raise. That's on a federal level. Now also states are proposing their own stimulus checks as well. Take a look at this. US states seeks to ease inflation burden with direct payments, also known as gas stimulus checks. Governors and state lawmakers throughout the US are floating proposals to send checks to help residents cope with soaring inflation at a time when state budgets are bursting with cash. Unbelievable. Right now, states have a surplus. Usually we have deficit, but right now they're saying they're flush with cash and they're looking to send out more stimulus check payments to help out Americans at this time. This is likely gonna be needed. As I mentioned, a lot has unfolded with Russia and Ukraine that's gonna be impacting our economy. Take a look. US formally declares Russian military has committed war crimes in Ukraine, and I'm gonna be sharing with you some video footage. And Russia has responded back. Take a look at this. European gas prices jump after Putin says unfriendly countries must pay in rubles. And we're respecting that with the way things are going. It doesn't look like this is gonna be coming down anytime soon, which is saying it's gonna apply even more pressure on Congress to pass more stimulus checks. So I'm gonna get you caught up on the latest. A lot of new details coming out about what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, and the need for more direct assistance to help our Americans at this time. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, first, this ABC News article that just came out recently says US states seek to ease inflation burden with direct payments. I shared with you in my last video that we've actually had 3 bills released by Congress. They've actually put together legislation and they're trying to push for more stimulus checks for Americans on a federal level to help combat this increased gas prices and inflation. And especially as we get closer to those midterm elections, we're likely going to be hearing a lot more about this, as I want to remind people to vote in the favor to keep them in power. Now the article says that with inflation raging and state coffers rush with cash, governors and lawmakers across the US are considering a relatively simple solution to ease the pain that people are feeling at the gas pump and the grocery store, sending money. At least a dozen states have proposed giving rebate checks of several $100s directly to taxpayers, among them California, Kansas, and Minnesota. Critics, including many Republican lawmakers, say those checks won't go far enough given the pace of inflation and are pushing instead for permanent tax cuts. One of the proposals said $300 a month, another said $100 per month per person. We before had calls for one-time $2,000 stimulus checks. Let me know what you think would be the best to help people a lot at this time. Now, in addition to direct rebates, lawmakers and governors across the country are considering cuts to sales taxes, poverty tax relief, and reducing or suspending state gas taxes. So a lot of modifications being proposed to help out people at this time. Now, the proposals come at a time when many states actually have too much money on their hands because of billions of dollars in federal pandemic aid and ballooning tax revenues. And as you know, the American Rescue Plan had $315 billion allocated to go out to states, countries, and cities to pass their own packages. And in many cases, we've seen new state stimulus checks, but there are still a lot of leftover funds. And as a matter of fact, there's over $800 billion of unused stimulus package funds just sitting there, just to give you an idea of how much that could provide a fourth and a fifth $1,400 federal level stimulus check. So that way, we don't add to the debt or inflation, but still can provide some form of relief. And it says it's also happening as war in Ukraine has compounded soaring prices for fuel and other essentials. And we're hearing that this is added even more to our inflation issues. And that's why we heard that this is going to be causing us to need more direct assistance even more. Take a look at this. The article says that the US government had formally declared that members of Russian armed forces have committed war crimes in Ukraine. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said in a statement Wednesday the official US declaration that Moscow's troops had violated the laws of conflict comes after Blinken, President Joe Biden, and Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman all said that it was their personal opinion that war crimes had taken place. Today, I can announce that based on information currently available, the US government assesses that members of Russia's force have committed war crimes in Ukraine, Blinken said in a statement. Our assessment is based on careful review of available information from public intelligence and sources. Now, we heard that Russia has already responded. This is going to add even more to inflation and increase gas prices. Take a look at this video footage as he also announced an emergency meeting right after these statements. Now, take a look at this article. This is just going to be adding even more to the need for financial assistance. European gas prices jumped on Wednesday after Russian President Vladimir Putin said that unfriendly countries must pay for gas in rubles. Some European countries such as the United Kingdom and the Netherlands saw their wholesale gas price up 30%. Reuters reported the ruble also went up to 97.7 against the dollar, although it's still down 22% below its value before the war. These actions occurred after Putin announced gas needed to be paid in rubles in retaliation for the sanctions the West have put on Russia. Unfriendly countries include the United States, members of the European Union, Britain, Japan, Canada, Norway, Singapore, South Korea, Switzerland, and Ukraine. Putin said these countries have made illegitimate decisions on the so-called freezing of Russian assets, and it makes no sense to give goods and not receive payments in rubles. So it's looking more likely that there's going to be some form of direct payments, stimulus checks going out on federal levels and on state levels to help out people at these increased gas prices and inflation. And with the news we got about Russia, things might even increase more. New information, new stories coming out every single day on this, and I'll keep you up to date on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me if you made it this far. And if you haven't already, don't forget, smash the like button down below. I appreciate it. Also, leave your comments, share this out if you think it's gonna help out other people. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, God bless.